Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So we'll talk about Django 3.2.8, which is the web framework of Python. So what is Django? Django is a Python framework which is used for rapid web development, and even we can use it in the machine learning. So why we need Django? Django is a fast and it is most secure, and it is scalable, so where we can develop the rapid web development purpose. So whether it is a front end or a back end, so Django acts like a both front end as well as a back end language. So it is used to quick web development process. So let's see the architecture of Django. So the architecture of Django will be having a model view template. So where it accept the get or a post request, it will run the particular URL and run the particular function, and it will be giving a HTML template for the clients. So we'll see the mini project. So where we'll be dealing with the CRUD operation, that is create, read, update and delete. We'll create a Django project and a Django application. We'll see how the things will work on. So now, what are the requirements? The requirements will be you need to have Python IDE installed as well as a VS Code editor for the coding purpose. So let's start with the Django project. So here are the few commands I'll be sharing with you. So it is a pip install Django is used to install the particular Django, and these are the 4 commands which is necessary. So here let's start with the coding part right now. So let's move on to the screen. So I'll be showing you the demo of the project, so which already has been implemented. So here you can see the current mini project which is going to be implemented right now. So this I have recorded after completion of the particular video. So we'll see how the insertion operation works. Suppose if I want to add a few of the details, so I'll just add one more name over here. I'll just use the name as Gauri Shankar. So if I just tell Gauri Shankar over here, so then I'll just enter the name gmail.com. So then I'll just enter in my friend's name 25H. If I just enter mail over here, if I just click to submit, you can see data has been inserted successfully. Then insert operation is working fine. So I can just click onto the into mark, it will just evaporate it. Suppose if I want to edit this operation, if I want to edit his details, so I'll just tell the name here, Gauri Shankar Agarwal. So I can just enter this, and I'll just tell the age is 22 and he's the friend male. And here if I just try to update, you can see data updated successfully, Gauri Shankar Agarwal. So the data has been added perfectly, and even you can see the particular age of everything is been displayed. And if I want to delete the operation, I can just click on to the delete, the data has been deleted successfully. So we saw how the CRUD operations works with the insert, delete as well as the delete. And even we will be seeing how we can deal with the database administration, like I'll show you the administration over here. So where the database tables are there, where the data has been stored over here, even which is being given by the Django default administration. So even we can do the CRUD operation with this, but the same operation we have implemented in the front end part. So all the read, update as well as the create deletions. Okay. So these all the things we'll be doing in this particular video. So now let's move on to the coding part. Okay guys, let's start with the coding part. So here I have opened the python.org.download, so which is most necessary. So for going ahead with the Django, so we need to download the particular Python IDE. So if I just come below, so here I have the new version. It is released on the November 15th, 3.9.9. I'll just click onto the link. So here if I just come down, here I have the thing, like you can see I have the 64-bit operating system. So I can opt for the 64 operating system, that is the Windows installer 64-bit. Once I click onto this link, so it will just start downloaded over here. Okay, so my Python is been getting downloaded, so I can just click the install, next, install it. Okay, next is the VS Code editor. I am preferring to write the particular code. It's completely your choice. You can use a Sublime Text or a Atom or a PyCharm, any other IDE. So it's completely based on your choice. So I'll be downloading for the Windows. So already I have downloaded. So it is a simple installations. I hope you know how to install the particular software. So it is not any rocket science over there. So easily you can start downloading it and install it. Okay. So the important part in the Python here is, if I just tell Python path. So when you are installing the Python, I'll be getting few of the, like one page, I'll be getting one page in the form of like this. So here you can see, if I just open this into the new window, so here I'll be getting this kind of stuff, that is this kind of page. So here at the time of installation of the Python, it is most mandatory to enable this checkbox add Python 3.9 to the path. So you need to enable both the buttons. I mean, you need to tick mark both the items. So then after you tick mark both the things, you need to click onto the install now. So it is a very important point over here. So after the installation, we need to check whether the Python is been installed correctly or not. So for that one, just open the command prompt cmd, enter cmd and just search for it. So once you open it here, so I'll be getting this kind of particular command prompt. So here just enter pip and just click onto the enter. So once you click onto the pip enter, so we'll be get to know whether the thing is installed perfectly or not inside your laptop. Okay, so if I just enter the pip, so here I'll be getting a few of the commands. So if I just minimize again, so it will be, can see I'm getting few of the steps over it. Okay, so that means the Python has been installed and the pip should work 100%. Okay, so if you need to check the Python version, enter python --- version. So once I enter, you can see 3.10 is my Python version. So here, so we need to install the Django now. So to install the Django, we have a command pip install Django. Okay, so we can just install the particular Django inside our C drive. So once it has been installed, you can see it will be once the two things should work, 3.10, and along with that the pip should working. Okay, when two things are working, obviously the Python will get installed, sorry, the Django will get installed. So here once the Django has been getting installed, so let's wait for the, it will take few time. So already in my laptop the Django is been installed, so it is showing me the requirement is already satisfied inside my laptop. Okay, but in your case it will be starting it will take the freshly and it will get installed. Okay, it is not present. So is one thing. So next thing what you need to do here is come to any of the folders. So if I just go to the C drive or E drive, so I'll just go to my E drive. So I'll just create one new particular folder. So I'll just keep the particular folder name as CRUD. I'll just make it as a CRUD. So it is my CRUD folder. So I'll just open, right click to this thing, and I'll just click onto the open with the Visual Studio Code. So when you are installing the Visual Studio Code, you will be getting few of the particular checkboxes. Enable all the checkboxes, and if you click next and install it, at that time you will be getting this kind of option when you are right clicking. So it will be just opening the particular VS Code. If it's not also, it is not an issue. So you can easily open the Visual Studio Code with the command prompt, and directly you can just click onto the logo of the Visual Studio Code. So it will be giving you access to open the VS Code. Okay, so since it has been opening over here, so I can see the particular folder is been opened inside my Visual Studio Code. If I just click onto the file, and if even I can open the particular folder from here also, I can just click onto the open folder, and whichever the folder you have created, so even you can just select the folder and click onto the select folder, that particular thing will get open over here. That is one way. And if you want to drag the particular folder, even you can drag the particular folder like this. Even this is also works fine. Okay, so there are the n number of ways to open a particular folder inside the Visual Studio Code. So next we'll start with the particular project. So we'll be installing the few of the commands. Okay, so I'll just click onto the terminal. So if I just click onto the new terminal, so here, as we know, the Django has a project as well as the application. So we need to start the particular project. Then inside a project, we need to create one particular application where we are going to work on it. So here I'll just open the particular terminal. So here the terminal is getting open. So you can just select the particular terminal as a command prompt. Okay, so you can just select it as a command prompt. So as the particular Django is been installed, so you can use the particular Django framework now. So I can just tell to start the particular project, I can just tell Django. So I'll just tell from the Django admin, start the particular project. So start project. So then I need to give the project name. So for here project, I'll just give the project name as project itself. Okay, so I'll just make it simple. The project name, anything you can give it over here. Okay, so I am giving the particular project as a project itself. So the particular project name as a project. So I'll just run this particular command. As you can see, it is an empty particular folder at the left hand side. Once I run this particular command, so the particular few of the folder will get created, and the files will be getting created. Okay, so you can see over here, if I run it will take little time. So let's wait for until it works. Okay, so I can see it is taking me to the Django administrator. Okay, so once it has been done, so here we'll be able to see the particular folder over here. So if I just run the program, so it is taking little bit time. So you can see it is done. So the project is been created with a single command. So with a single command, the project is been getting created, and you can see I got few of the Python files. You should not change any of the things from here. Okay, and we got a manage.py file by which we can run the particular server. So now I'll just go inside the project directory. So I'll just go to the project directly, cd project. So now I need to run this particular project. To run the particular project, I have a command python manage.py run server. So if I just run this particular command python manage.py run server, so you can see I'll be getting a starting development server. So with this particular server IP, I can run this particular project and I can handle all the operations. So all the output operations I can handle in the part of a front end. You can see it is starting the development server. Okay. So here if I just right click, if I just press control and click onto this link, press control and click onto this link. Once I click onto this link, the particular link will get open inside the new tab. That is, we can see the Django works successfully. Congratulations. So that means my Django is been installed properly. Okay, so it has been done. Project is been created perfectly. So now I don't want to show this kind of page here. So as we are doing the CRUD operations, I need to implement my own front end. So I need to create the forms over here. Then I need to interact with one application. To interact with an application for the CRUD operation, so here let the server will be running in this particular command. So what I'll do, I'll just click onto the one more command over here. I'll just click onto the plus. It is a one more terminal. So this time I'll just select this as a command prompt. Okay, so command prompt terminal. So now I'll just go inside the cd project directory. It is very much important. You should follow the same structure. Okay, so now I'm inside the project directory. So before, directly I created the command Django admin start project name. Directly it started the particular it just created this particular project directory and few of the files. Now I am coming inside this project directory. So see, inside my project it is something like this. So we have a project. Now you can see the database SQLite is defaultly it is provided by the Django. So now I need to create an application. To create an application, we have a command that is a python. This is a python manage.py particular start the application. So I need to create an application now. So python manage.py start app. So now I need to give the third argument, that is the application name. The application name is app. So anything you can give your own name. So I'm giving app as my app name. Okay, so I'll just click onto this command. You can see once I run this command, I'm getting few of the folder is created. That is a app got created as well as the migrations folder, and I got few of the files, that is a python files. I'll explain you what this particular files will be doing it. Okay, so now we have created an application. Now the thing is we need to connect our Django project. Now the thing is we need to connect this particular Django project to this particular application. So we need to connect this particular project, the particular IP with this particular application over here. Okay, so there are things we need to do it here now. So then what I need to do here is next thing. So I'll say few of the extensions so that it makes easier to type. So just click on to these extensions. So when I click on to the extensions, so here I can just download the Django. If I just tell Django, so once I enter Django, so you are having the Django beautiful syntax. So if I just click on to this, so I am just installing this particular Django. So at the time of typing, it will be giving a few of the suggestions, which makes easier for us to type. Okay, so then so here I have been enabled, so it has been disabled. So okay, fine. So here I need to just enter one more thing, that is a Python, so that I can get the Python suggestion also. If I run all the Python, you can see I have already installed. You can just install this particular Python. So one more of the few of the extensions also prettier. So you can just tell prettier. So even this is one thing, it will beautify your particular code. Okay, so this is all the few important extensions. You can just download it. So once it is done, so now we'll look onto the coding part. So these are all the things we need to do it. So I'll just do it like this. So now what I need to say here is I need to create one particular functions. I need to run the particular project. So here I need to show something, display something like CRUD operation. So I need to show the CRUD operation inside over here. I need to just show the CRUD operation rather than showing this particular page. So we'll see how we can do it, how we can connect our front-end template to this particular backend framework. So now coming back to here, what I'll do here is I'll just create one folder. You can see I'll just create one folder. I'll just click onto this logo. I'll just create a folder name, that is templates. So I have given the name templates. So inside a templates, I'll create one index.html file. index.html file. So I'm just creating a index.html file inside a folder, that is template directory. So I'll just tell right click. I'll just do like this. Okay. So here it is not giving me the emit operation. So I'll just open my JSON file. So I think it is not necessary to you to do this one. So I'll just tell JSON. So edit in the JSON file. So here I have uncommented it. I'll just uncomment out back. So I'll just save it. Okay. So so if I just enter, so it is not coming it fine. So I think so few of the extensions it won't load starting at a time. I can normally use it like HTML. I can just select it as HTML. I can just tell shift and exclamatory. If I enter it, you can see I'll be getting a boiler template over here. So it is a very useful boiler template. So where I can no need of writing all the stuff. So I can just easily write like this. So here I'll just give the title name as CRUD operation Django project. So I'm giving the particular title name for my particular front end part. So then I'll give in the body. I'll just use a h1 tag. So in the h1 tag, I'll just tell CRUD operation. I'm giving as a CRUD operation in my h1 tag. I'll just save it. So now what I need to do here is I need to run this particular file. I need to show this CRUD operation where I need to show the CRUD operation over here rather than running this particular template. So now I need to do few of the settings. So where I can display this HTML template inside my front end. So I'll just open the particular project. So here I'll say what all the useful of these files. URLs is used to provide the particular routing. Setting is your father of your Django project. So where any application you are installing it, you need to inform to your settings.py file. Any directory you are making it, you need to inform your settings.py file. Any static directory or media directory, anything is of your choice. You need to inform to this settings.py file. So handling the passwords, handling the routing, debugging thing, almost the things will be passing from here itself. So we have the middlewares, all the things. So it's like a polymorphism. You no need to know what is the thing is going on here. You need to just focus on the logic. That is what the Django says. So let's focus on the logic. So first, as I said, I created an application. I need to tell inside my installed app. So I'll just tell, I'll just say apps apps. So I'll just tell app. So I created an app, particular application. So I'm saying in the installed app at the line number 40, I have created an application. Please load this particular app inside your Django project. So then I created what template folder. So here I have a directories at the 58th line. I need to inform in the directory, same name you need to provide. Here I'll just tell templates templates. So I created a templates directory. So please look onto the templates directory for the directories. So I have informed to my Django project. So these all the things will work fine now. So then what I need to do here is I'll go to the project urls.py file. So the structure should be same over here. See how the structures are there. I will just show you in from here. So where I have created a operation CRUD. So you can see I have a project and I have an app project templates db SQLite 3 manage.py file. Inside the template there is a index.html file. So same structure you need to have even inside your particular project. Okay, so you should not put here and there the particular folders. It will be giving you the errors. To avoid the errors, just follow same how I am teaching it here. So now I'll just include one inbuilt function. I'll just tell comma, I'll just tell include. I want to include this particular inbuilt function. So here after including it, I'll just tell path. I'll say now I'll say whenever I get this kind of IP address, whenever I'm getting this kind of IP address, I need to send my application to the apps.urls file. So I'll create one URLs file here. I'll mention urls.py file. So I'm just creating a urls.py file over here. So that I'm just creating the urls.py file. So then come back to the project URLs. Application URLs I have created now, but the project URLs was previously is been written. So in the URLs I'll say whenever I get the IP address, whenever I'm getting the IP address, that is nothing but this one empty mark. Okay, you can just use a slash also. You can use keep it as a empty. So for what? For this kind of thing, whenever I am using just a single quotes with nothing or a double quotes with nothing, you need to understand I'm redirecting to the home page, that to this particular URL, that is a localhost URL. So now I'll just say whenever I'm getting this kind of IP address, that is nothing but whenever I'm getting this request, the home page URL request, so I want to include. So here I have imported something. I'll just tell I want to include. So I want to include the my app URLs file. So it will just app.urls. So that's it. So now Django will jump from here directly. It will jump from here to here to this, here to here it will jump. So what I need to do here is I need to copy few of the stuffs here. I'll just copy this stuff. So I'll just go to the app URLs file. So I'll just save it. So what all the things are there, I have just copied over here. So once I copy, I'll remove this admin. I don't need this administration. I'll remove the imports. So here I need to even I'll just remove the include. So unnecessary things, there is no need of keeping the unnecessary stuffs. So now what I'll do here is I'll say here as a pass over here. I'll just tell pass. Okay, so all else I can just keep it as a empty. So I'll just keep it empty over here. So now I'll just write one function. So you know in the Python how we need to write a particular functions. So I'll just use the keyword def. I'll just tell. So I'll write one particular index function which accepts a request and it will return what it will return render. So whatever the thing is there, I have imported the render already. It is imported render. So first argument it will take it as a request and the second argument it will tell where I need to render it. I'll just tell you want to render it to the index.html file. Whenever I am passing the second argument as a index.html file, it is going to search in the template folder for the index.html file. Okay, so this is how the things works. I'll just save it. So then I'll just go back to my urls pattern. So here now I'll provide the path. So I'll just provide the path. I'll say whenever there is a request, whenever you are getting this request from the URLs of the project, that means your localhost request, it is including the app URLs, it is going to the app URLs. So here I have given the same URL path. Whenever I'll say, I'll just tell go to the views dot. So you need you want to go to the apps views. So that I need to import it first. I'll just tell import the particular. I'll just tell from the application. From the application, I want to import the views. So from this particular app, I am importing this views function. So after importing, I'll just tell views dot. So I want to run the index function. So I want to run the index function where exactly the function name should be index itself. Okay. So where exactly the function name should be index. So it will just go to the views. It will search for the index function. It will just return this index.html file. So once I save everything, if everything you have corrected, if I come back and refresh, so here you can see I'm getting the CRUD operation. It has been successfully done. Okay guys, so once it is done, so we'll be coming back to the code. So this is how the things works. Okay, so if you want to have any other URL, suppose I'll just add one more URL. So I'll just copy the same path. So here I want to go to the about page. I'll just give it as about. So function name I'll just give it as about page. So if I just go back to the views, so if I just want to go to the about.html page, so I'll just create the same function name here. I'll just change the function name to about, but this time it should look for the about.html file. So we don't have the about.html file here. So if I just go back and if I just tell /about, if I just go to this particular /about, you can see I'm getting an error, page not found, because there is no about stuffs over here. If I just come back here I need to tell the path about. It should go to the /about page. So if you want to go to the home page with the what we call this one the single quotes with the nothing. If I come back and refresh, I'll be getting one more error here. So what is what template doesn't found, because we don't have about.html file inside my template folder. So I'll just create one about.html page here, about.html page. Okay, I'll just create about.html page. I'll just enter like this. Now I'll just tell this is the title. I'll just give it as a about. So here I'll just give in the h1 tag. I'll just make it as a about. So I'll just save it. If I come and refresh, you can see I'm getting as a about page. If I just go to this URL, it is going to the home page. If I just go to the /about, it is going to the about page. So this is how the particular URLs works, and the function will be working inside the Django, that is in the application. So now what we need to do here, I'll just close everything from the right hand side. Now I'll introduce with the getbootstrap.com. So I am not focusing much on the particular front end part. So I'll just go to the getbootstrap. Okay, so I'll just go to the getbootstrap.com. So getbootstrap.com is a CSS framework. So we are focused on just on the logic. We are not focusing how the CSS works, how the JavaScript works. Just we'll copy the starter template of the particular bootstrap and we'll be start using it. So we have something like starter template. So you need to copy the starter template where all the CSS works. So now I'll just go back to my index. So I'll just paste everything over here, same as it is. I'll just paste it. Okay, so I'll just remove this comment line. So what is here? So basically we have a thing, just the same boiler template, but we have a bootstrap CSS here. So with this href, with this particular link, the CSS is going to load it. So if I just copy this link and if I show you with the new tab, so you can see there is we have a number of code written over here, that is a CSS code. It is just get loaded inside my particular project, that is in this particular project is going to load all the CSS component. Here I have a title name. So for a title, I'll just give it as a CRUD mini project. I'll just make it as CRUD mini project as my title name. So I'll just save it. So once I save this much, you can see if I come back here, if I refresh, now you can see the font is getting changed and all the things is getting changed over here. So let's keep it simple. So no need of taking much more over here. So now what I'll do is I'll just remove this header tag. So I will take some of the component from the Bootstrap. So if I just say I want to display one particular header tag, if I just tell navbar over here, if I just tell it as a navbar, so you can see I have the few navbars written like this. So you have something like this, the navbar. So I have the stuff. So if I just see, if you want like this, you can get particular stuff like this, and anything whichever you like, you can just get the particular stuff from the particular Bootstrap over here. Okay, so it is very simple. So if I want something like this to get display, I'll just copy this code, I'll come back, I'll just paste inside my body. Inside the body, I'm going to paste it. So yeah, let's make it as a mini project. I'll just tell CRUD, I'll just make it as a CRUD mini project. I'll just make it as CRUD mini project. So I'll just save like this. Whenever I click, it should, whenever I put a slash, it is going to load the same page. Okay, that is nothing but it is going to load the URL page. Whenever I click onto the anchor tag, that is a CRUD mini project, the href it is going to take with this path and it is going to run the index function. So that is how the routing works. If I just save it this much, let's see how it looks. Come back and refresh the thing, you can see I'm getting as a CRUD mini project, I'm getting over like this. So what I'll do here is I'll say the background color. If I want to make the particular background color differently, I'll just make it as a dark. If I just make the particular background color as a dark, so it will just give the dark color. Here also I'll just make it as a dark. Once I save it, and refresh, you can see the background color is being changed to dark color. It is getting CRUD mini project. So if I want to get the things to the center, how I can do that one? So if I just say here inside my anchor tag, so here if I just say the particular text should be center. So let's see whether this works. Text center is all the Bootstrap class. So if I run, it is not going to work because it is not taking the text to the center. If a same thing, if I just cut it here, if I just paste it here, the container text should be at the center. If I just do like this, whether it works or not. If I refresh, so even it is not working, it will see later. So the few of the things is there. If I just apply the text center property, it is going to come at the center. Okay, so the things is been there. If I refresh, so it is normally like this. So if I want to have the, if I just have like this, so now what I need to do here is after the navbar, my navbar is starting here and my navbar ends over here. So here I need to create one particular form. I need to create one particular form. So that particular form, what I'll do, I'll put everything inside a container. I'll just tell div dot container, and from the margin top give it as a 3. So I'll just enter. You can see it is just giving like this. The particular things is getting completed with all the shortcuts. So I am just creating one container. Inside a container, what I'll do here is I can just divide a particular screen to the 2 columns here. So what I'll do here is, here I'll just take the particular operation. So whatever the update, so what I'll do here is, here I'll just create one form. So whatever the data I'll be creating it should show it to the in the same page. So here it should show to the same page, like all the operations things it should show. So what I'll do here is I'll just tell div dot row. I'll just create one row. So inside the row I'll just create, so in the Bootstrap one row is been divided into 12 columns. So 4 columns I'll keep it to enter the particular details, and rest few columns I'll keep it to display the particular data. Okay, that will be cool, right? So I'll just tell div dot column. I want to create a column of medium size. It should be of 6 column. I'll just multiply with 2. So it will be giving like this. So here you see, if I just show you the, if I just make it here as a 1, so inside this particular div I'll just put here as a 2. So once I save like this, if I just come back and refresh, you can see I'm getting here as a 1 and here I'm getting as a 2. That means the one row is been divided into 6 columns. That is nothing but like that. So then now I don't want to show it as a 1 and 2 for your reference. I just showed. So as I said, I'll just keep this as a 4 columns. So remaining 8 columns I'll keep it to display the data. So let's save like this. So now what I'll do here is, so it has been like this, right? So fine. So now if I just show you the BG here, if I just tell BG dark, if I just make it BG dark, the 4 columns, if I come and refresh it, So you can see, okay, I cannot apply to the division tags like this, or for the, sorry, for this column is not going to work. I'll just keep it simple, save it now. So once it is done, now I need to create one header tag. I'll just create one h2 tag. So in the h2 tag, I'll just make it like insert the data. I'll just tell create, I'll just mention it as a, I can just say, so insert the student, I'll just make it as a student database here. I'll just tell insert student details. I'll mention like insert student details. So I'll just mention insert the particular student details. I'll keep it into the h2. You can see I'm getting insert the particular student details. I can create a class for it. I can just tell create. I can just tell text should be, I can just make it as a text should be white color, and the background color should be dark, and it should be at the center, text CENTR center. Let's save it. If I come back and refresh, so you can see I'm getting in this particular format. You can see insert the particular detail. Even I can provide the padding. I want to provide a padding of 2 from the x as well axis. If I refresh, you can see it has been coming like this. If I want to give it more, if I just give it as a 4, you can see if I give it as a 4, it looks something bigger. You can see it is coming in this particular format. So I'll just give it as a 3. I think it is sufficient, the 3. If I refresh it, you can see internship details over it. Then along with that, I want to create a margin top from the file. I want to create a container. So I want little bit space from the top. If I refresh, you can see it is been coming down. Okay, that means now it is coming perfect. Now I need to create a particular form, so where I can take the particular data. To take a data, I need to create one particular form, right? So I'll just create one br tag. So inside the tag, so I'll just say form, form form, form form. So I want a form of a post request. So where we'll be having an action and method is equal to post request. So inside a form, I need to create the particular division tag. I'll just tell division div dot. There is a class that is a form control. Sorry, for form group. The first class is a form group. So inside the form group, I'll just take the input. I'll just take the input as a text. So then I'll just tell I want to display. So I'll just tell placeholder. So placeholder will be what? I'll just tell enter the student name. So I'll just tell enter the particular student name. It should be enter the student name like this. It should show the enter the student name inside the particular box. Here whatever the data is been typed, I need to store it into a variable. I'll just store it into a name is equal to name. Then I'll just give one more attribute. Okay, I think it is one enough. So I can just store the particular attribute in the name is equal to name, and it should be a required field. So it is mandatory to be filled. Okay, so this is one thing. And to apply the CSS for the particular form, I can just give the class name. I need to give the particular class name. Wherever you like, you can just give it. I'll just tell class is equal to, so it is a form control. form form, control control, form control. Just save it. So once I come back and refresh, you can see enter the student name. Everything has been coming perfectly. Okay, so enter the student name is there. So now same as it is, I'll create 2 more stuffs. So here as well enter the student email ID. So I'll just make it type is equal to email. Here I'll just tell enter the student email. So whatever the email has been submitted, it should store it into a variable that is email, and it should be a required field. Done. So here I'll just give the margin top. I'll give some margin top. I will just give it as a 2. I'll just keep it. I'll give one space between the margin top. Here also I'll just give it margin top from 2. So at the last, I'm taking a name, I'm taking an email, I'm taking a age. So age is obviously a number. I'll just type is equal to number. I'll just tell enter the student age. Okay, I'll just make it as enter the particular student age. So this will be get stored into the age. Okay, so like this I can just do it. So once I save, if I come back and refresh, you can see I'm having name, a student email, enter the student age. I'm getting 3 options over here. If I want to get a drop down, so where the particular gender can be get selected. So if I just search for the drop down here, if I just search for the drop down, so if I just search for the drop downs, so you can see I'll be getting the example. So I can just use in this particular format the drop down. If I just search for the form, so how I got to know all these things? So from the get bootstrap, I am just using the particular form. So you can see I have a forms. If I just click onto the form controls, if I just click onto the overview also, it is fine. You can able to see everything. So okay, if I just click onto the overview of here, so you will see we have the particular form. You can just directly copy the entire form and you can paste it. Okay, it will be something like this. Okay, email, password, something like that. So then if I want the But I want a drop down, right? So I want the particular drop down. So where is the drop down is not getting shown over here. So actually it is a 5.1. So if I just go back to the 4.6, here there is a components. Here if I just search for the forms over here, it will be there. So somewhere is the forms. So here is the forms. So here you can see I have the a number of examples over here. So we have the drop down. So it will be having in this particular format. So if you want to have a drop down, things like it is just a multiple select. If you want perfect like a drop down, so something like this. So set like this. So if I want to have something like this where I can I can just select the particular information. So I can just use the particular form buttons. Even if you want to use the radio buttons, even you can use the particular radio buttons. It's completely your choice. Okay, so I want a particular drop down over here. So I'm not getting, okay, here is the drop down. So where is the states? So if I just see where is the states, here is the code. I'll just copy from the form control to this particular div tag. I'll just copy it, and here after the required I'll just paste it. So here it should be a, I'll just show you one thing. I'll just tell here select the gender. I'll just mention select gender. So I'll just give one label tag, label label. I'll just tell, so I'll just tell here it is a gender, gender, gender. So here I'll just tell gender. I'll just mention gender, gender. So I want to select the particular gender. So here the input is what? So whatever the gender you have given, you need to select it. You need to give it the same thing over here. Okay, here only we have, I can just directly give it the gender. I'll just remove this label tag. So inside this particular form group, I have a label gender which will display. So here ID, I'll just give it as a gender gender. Then form control is fine. So here I'll just tell choose. So I can just give the options over here. So I'll just give 3 options. Here I'll just give a male, email. So for the male, I'll just give the particular value to it. LA value is equal to male. So I'll just give it as a value is equal to male. Same as it is, I'll just give value is equal to female. For the female, so let's give it like this, female. Then if I'll just make it as a capital. So that the last is what? Others. So others. So here let's make it as OTHRS others. Okay, so it will store it whenever I select this particular value, it is going to take, and it will be get select gender. I'll just mention like select gender. So let's tell select gender, select the particular gender. So here I'll be giving the attribute, whatever the value will get selected, it will get stored into a variable that is age. So sorry, not age, gender. So in the gender, the value should get selected, and it should be a required field, or ETUI or ET required field. So I'll just save it. Very simple. So we have, I come back and refresh. Here you can see I have a gender. I can just select the particular gender over male, female, or any other thing. Okay, so like this I can just select the particular stuffs. So here I am getting a few of the form group is there, column. Okay, I'll just remove this call MD4. Because of that, it is not taking full. So if I just come and refresh, so now I can see it is getting perfectly. Okay, I can just select the particular gender from here. If I just select male, it will be get stored to male, and if I just select like this, it will get stored. Okay, so like this we can do it. So now, so once we have done like this till here, so actually it is looking a little bit odd. I'll just remove the label from here. So directly I'll just tell select gender. So once I come and refresh, so here it is showing select gender. Automatically it is showing. I can just select the particular data from here. So next I need to have the buttons. So I'll just tell BUTTONH buttons. So I'll just select, actually I'm using a bootstrap file, so I need to select it as a bootstrap file. So if I just search for the buttons, I need to have a buttons. So you can see primary is called for the blue, secondary gray, green is red, danger is for red, and warning is for yellow, and info is all the colors. So you can just use it. So I want something large buttons. So I want something like block level buttons. So I'll just copy this block level button. I'll come here at the before the form, I'll just paste it. So I need only one button, so I'll just keep one button, remaining I'll just remove. Okay, so I'll just save it. So here I'll just tell submit the particular form. So here type is equal to, I'll make it as a type, it is a type of a submit button. So here I'll just keep this particular button color, I can keep it anything, blue color or red color or any other thing. So I can just keep it a success green color button. I'll just save it. So once I come back and refresh the page, you can see I'm getting a green color submit over here. So whichever you like, you can just use it. So here I'll just give the one BR tag, one line space. I'm using a big tag. So if I refresh here, I can see one space I got created. So here I can take the particular student data, name, email, age, as well as the gender. So enough for this video. like 4 particular attributes. I can take the from the input from the user, and I can just submit the particular form. So now whatever the data will get submitted here, I need to display it. So that we'll do it at the second part. First we'll insert the particular operation. We'll see how insert operations works. So here I'll just say, whenever anyone try to submit the form, it should perform one action. So here it should perform the action. If I right click and format the document, here you can see that the document is been getting formatted. So it is coming perfect now. So now where is the form here? So here is the form. So is the form is starting here. So I'll say whenever any actions perform, and whenever there is action is going to place, I need to get, I'll just tell slash, I need to perform one insert operation. I'll just tell insert insert operation. So I need to perform an insert operation. Method is a post. Here I need to perform CSRF token. I need to pass it. Okay. So whenever I am using a CSRF, whenever I am using a method is equal to post, you need to pass what? CSRF token. It will generate a token so that there should be a no constraints, so no one should hack your forms. So I need to provide a CSRF token. So now it will search for the action slash insert. It will go to the application urls.py file. It will search for the insert operation. Here I don't have an insert operation. So what I need to do, I need to create one insert operation. So here I'll just create a new path. I'll just mention whenever there is a request for the insert, I need to go to the views dot insert function, insert data. I'll just mention insert data function. I'll just say insert the particular data, where the function name should be exactly the insert data. Okay, here I'll just put a comma. And I'll put a comma over here. So okay, just don't forget to put a comma. So insert operation where it will should go to the insert data. So here is a name is equal to insert data function. So now I need to create a views. I need to go back to my views. So here you need to see, now the server would have got crashed. If I show you the server, so here you see I'm getting error. What the module app views has no attribute insert data. That means it is telling me you have given a view is equal to insert data, but inside my views there is no function by the name that is insert data. Okay, so we need to handle this particular operation. Now see, I'll just copy this some function. So here I'll just change it. I'll just mention the function name that is insert data. So once I save this much, you can see this error is gone. You can see it is okay. I'm getting one more attribute. No module has attribute insert data. Okay, I need to give it here spelling mistake. Okay, insert data. Once I save, you can see the error is gone over. Okay, so this is one error is when it is gone. So like this, the errors will be coming. You can just keep track inside the terminal where you have run the python manage.py run server command. Okay, so now there is one thing. Next I need to handle the operation now. So here I'll say whenever so at that time even you need to just tell index.html page. You need to return the index.html page itself. Whenever I am submitting the data, you need to render the insert.html file itself. So now I'll give one condition here. I'll just give one condition. I'll just tell if the particular request dot method, the request dot method method is equal to if the method is a post method, it is a if else statement. I'm using it here, simple if else. I'll say if the request dot method is a post request, what you need to do, you need to collect the particular data. So I need to collect what? I need to collect the particular name, then I need to collect the particular email address, then I need to collect the particular age, then I need to get the particular gender. These 4 things are available inside my form where the person is going to insert the data. That thing I need to collect from the particular person. So here to get the data, I'll just tell request dot post get. So I want to get the particular data. So here how I can get to know that the name is coming from this particular input box itself, the age is coming from this particular input box itself. How I'll be getting to know? So that thing we will be getting to know from the name is equal to name. If you are passing a name, the whatever the input is coming with the name box, that is going to take. Whatever the input is coming to the email, when you are giving as an email, whatever the email you have provided, that will get stored into a variable email. The age will get stored into a variable that is age. Okay, the gender will get stored, the value of the gender will get stored into a variable that is gender. Okay, this is how the things work. So same thing we need to pass. So for the gender, so I'll just come back to my views. So same thing I'll just copy here. I'll just copy for the 4 times, 1 2 3 as well as 4. So here I need to pass the attributes. So here I have given for the name, I have given name is equal to name itself. So I need to copy the name Come back to the views, just paste same as it is over here. So it is how the syntax works. For the email, I have given name is equal to email. I'll just come back to my views. For the email, I'll just pass the email address. So whatever the email I'm getting from the form. And for the age, so whatever the age I'm getting from the data, so I'll just pass the particular age over here. And for the particular gender, I have given name is equal to gender. I'll just copy this gender. I'll just pass the same thing over here. Okay, so I'll just pass like this. So done. So now I have just done like this. So let's see whether the things works or not. So if I want to check it, I'll just print it. I'll just tell print name. I'll just tell print the email address, whether and just print the age, just print the gender. So I'm just whatever the things I'm getting, I'm storing into one more variable that is a name. Then same thing, I'm just printing it. Same thing for the all I'm doing it. So let's see whether it works or not. Come back here. Let's submit one particular data. I'll just give my name over here. I'll just give the email address and is at gmail.com. If I just enter the age, if I just enter the mail, if I submit the form, you can see I'm getting CSRF verification failed. Request is aborted. So why I'm getting this failed? So even if I refresh the page, so even I'm getting the same error. So why I'm getting this error here is if I just save it, actually I have provided a CSRF token where it went. Okay, it is there. I don't know why it is doing. I have the CSRF token. Just save it again. So I given the CSRF token to the form of the episode. Insert action I given, post also I given, CSRF tokens also I have given it. So what I'll do here is I'll just stop the server. So I'll just stop the servers here. So I'll just delete all the servers. I'll restart it again. So here what I'll do here is I'll run one command. I'll just tell cd project. So here I'll just run one command. That is a command python manage.py migrate. I'll just run this command. Even you guys run this command python manage.py migrate. So yeah, okay, I'm getting a error. Okay, I need to go one project directory back. So because I'm inside the project directory, this parent project directory, here you need to be, then you need to run this command python manage.py migrate. So here you see actually we are getting these errors. You have 18 unapplied migrations like that. So it will get that particular warning will get resolved. So if I after doing like this, so now I'll run the project. I'll just tell python manage.py run the server. So whenever I run the server, python manage.py run server, if I run the particular server, so you can see now again I am just restart. Now you can see there is no warnings and there is no errors. I got the IP address. Now come back, and if I just go back here, so now I'll just copy this one. I'll just close this tab. I'll just open the same server inside the new tab, CRUD mini project. If I just enter the name here, I'll just enter the name and is at gmail.com. I'll just enter the age. I'll just enter the gender. If I submit the data, you can see the form got submitted and the error is resolved. Let's see whether it is printed or not, because I have printed the data here. Print name, email, age as well as gender. You can see the name, email and 22 has been coming. Even the mail is also coming. So all the data is perfectly passing to my backend. It means the data has been perfectly passing to the backend. Now what you need to do here is, now you need to store this particular data inside your database. So that particular database you will be creating inside a folder that is models.py file, which is there inside your application. So here let's create a particular database table here. So we'll create one particular database table. To create a table, we need to create the particular, we need to just run the we need to just tell oh yeah, okay, so I'll just tell class here. So I need to just tell class. So what is the table name? So I'll just give the table name as student database. I'll maintain like student database table, or else I'll just keep it simple, that is student. I'll be keeping it, so it will take models dot model as a default, as like this. Okay, it will take models dot models. So here what I need to have, I need to create one ID. I'll just create one particular ID. So here it will be just I'll just keep one particular ID. So the ID can keep it all default ID will be there. If you want to create, you can create, else it's completely your choice. Okay, so if you are creating an ID, you can create it, but defaultly there is a primary key. There will be a primary key, but I'll just create it. Okay. So for here I'll just tell create models dot. So anything you can just tell. I'll just tell I can just keep a big autofield. It can be any big number also. I'll just get big autofield. I'll just maintain primary key. It will be a primary key. I'll make it, this is as a primary key, and it will be auto increment mode. Okay, So it will be auto increment mode and it will be a primary key. So I can pass like this also, it is your complete choice, but I don't want to pass because defaultly it will be providing a primary key. There is no need of creating extra primary key. So extra particular by name ID. So by default it will be a primary key for each and every object. So now I need to have a name, email, and next one was what, the gender, and before gender there was a age. Okay, so these things I have. So for the name I'll just tell now models dot. So here I need to have anything, so I want to just have a character field. For the name I'll just keep it as a character field. So here I'll just give the maximum length. So the max length can be what, maximum length should be around 25 character can be there, and I'll just tell it's blank is equal to true, null is, if it's a blank I should not be blank over here. I'll just tell blank should be false. I cannot keep a false values or blank values, and even I can just tell null is equal to false. I can just tell null is equal to true. So it should not be a null value and it should not be a blank value. These three things I am just making sure that these three things should be matching it. So for the email we have models dot email field. We have a direct email field, you can directly pass like this. So here you also see primary key, boolean value, you can pass the maximum length, anything, it's your completely your choice. So I'll just keep it the empty. Here age, model dot integer field, I'll just keep it as an integer field. So it can be integer, even you can pass a primary key, max length as well as thing. So next gender, I'll just mention models dot, it should be a char field. So I'll just mention it should be a character field, and here I'll just specify the maximum length. I'll just give the maximum length should be around 25. Same, I'll just keep it, it cannot be blank and it cannot be null value. Okay, I just save it like this. Done. So I'm just saving this particular data here. So I'll just, once I save it, so here each and every class will return something. I'll just return the particular, I'll just tell def init. So I can just tell str. So I want to return something. What it will return means it will take a self as argument. It is just take a self as argument. It will just return. So I'll return something. I'll just tell return the particular. I can just return the particular name. Okay, directly I'll just tell return the particular name over here. I can just tell return the self dot name. Okay, with this constructor which is the self is there, that I need to return it. Now whenever I open the particular object, it will be rather than showing object 1, object 2 inside my database, it will be showing the with a name. If I click onto the name, I can able to see what all the object, what all the data has been there. So once I do any changes with the models.py file, whether if you are inserting anything inside your models.py file, what you need to do here is you need to run the migrations. I'll open the command prompt. So after here I'll just go to the cd project directory. So I'm inside the project directory. So now what I'll do here is I need to run the command. So what is the command? The first command is python manage.py make migrations. I want to run this command, python manage.py migrations migrations. So this command will do what? It will create a database table that is a student inside your db SQLite 3. So now I need to confirm it. Once again I need to run python manage.py migrate. I need to run this command, python manage.py migrate migrate. Once I run the migrate, these migrations will apply. Whatever the migrations is been applied, for that migrate will get applied and it will get saying you the okay status. So this is how the things will work. So it is the thing I am running inside my second terminal, but my server is running at the starting terminal here, you can see. Okay, so even you can stop the server and you can run the commands, it's your choice. So let's save it, that's all. So we have created a database table. Now what I'll do, whatever the data I am getting from the insert data, what is a post request form, that data I need to store it inside a database table. So I need to import this student table inside my views.py where my logic has been written. I'll just tell from the particular dot models, I'll just tell from the dot models I want to import the student database table. So I'll be importing it. Once I import it, I'll just say query. I'll run one query. The query should what? It should take the student database table, whichever I have imported, and it should match with the thing and it should save it. I'll just tell whatever the name is their attribute. For the name, whatever the value you are getting from the front end, just store the particular value over here. Name is equal to name, and same as equal to email is equal to email, and last one was age is equal to age. At the last, gender is equal to gender. So you need to store the values for the name, email, age as well as the gender. All the things you need to store it. So once it is been stored, I'll just tell query dot save. I'll just run this save function. I want to save the particular data. I want to save everything. Query dot save. I'll run it. So once it is been saved, so what it should do here is it can display a few of the message like displaying it. So I don't want to display the particular message. So when I can do the particular displaying, so we'll see later. Okay, how to display the message at the last we'll be seeing it. Now let's do with the delete operation inside like that. So it will be get saved and it will return me the index.html file. That's it. So it's only this much thing it should do it. So I'll just save this much. Let's see whether the things works or not. So now I'll just enter the data Anis at gmail.com. I'll just enter 22 age. I'll just enter the mail. I'll just submit. So once I submit, the data got submitted. So we'll check. Now I'll just give one more database name. I'll just enter the student name. If I just tell here Anika, so I'll just mention Anika at gmail.com. Then I'll just enter her age. So if I just enter female, two particular things I have inserted. I can insert one more thing. I can just tell Harshit. I'll just tell Harshit at gmail.com, age 25, gender male, submit. So basically 3 things we have submitted. Now I'll show you where the data exactly is being saved. Okay, so if I just open one administration over here, okay, so I'll just show you the one thing. So I'll just go back to my command prompt here. So now I'll just log in. So if I just Django will be defaultly, it will be providing you the Django administration. To go to the Django administration, we need to go to this /admin. So this is a URL and /admin. Okay, if you just enter this URL, you can see I'll be getting a Django administration. This is what I love most the thing inside the Django. It will be giving the default administration over here. Okay, so I need to log in with this data. So for login it, I need to have a credentials. I can create. I'll just tell Python manage.py create. I want to create a super user now. So it is asking me the few other stuff. So it is asking me the username. I'll just tell the username is Anis. So I'll just enter blank. I'll just keep the password. So I'll just tell y and I'll just enter it. So the super user has been created successfully. So with these credentials, I can log in to my administration. Let's try. If I log in it, so you can see I can log in into my administration, but I am not able to see where is the database data has been stored over here. So in the users, I can see how many users are there. It is a default Django administration, which is Django has been providing us, but we are dealing with the front end, all the stuffs, and we are passing the attributes to the back end. So now this particular thing is not getting shown. What is not getting shown? The student models table is not getting shown. So we need to register here. I'll just tell same as it is from dot models. I want to import the students. So after importing it, I'll just tell my admin to register it. I'll just tell admin.site.register. I want to register the model that is student. I want to register it. Once I save this much, once I just press Ctrl S, I'll be keeping pressing Ctrl S whenever I do any changes. Even you need to do it same. Okay, come back and refresh. You can see I got my application name. I got the student here. So if I click onto the student here, you can see the database. So whichever the data I have been passed, that data has been getting stored. If I just open the Anis, you can see all the data has been stored. Even I can delete from here, even I can update the data from here, everything I can do it. Okay, but the same functionality I am showing you how to do it with the front end part. So the data basically here I have shown you just for this reason, that is the data has been stored over here. So now what I'll do here is, so whatever the data has been there, whatever this data has been there, that I will display you here. I'll just show you the data, or like I'll just display the data over here. So we'll see how we can display it. So this is how I wanted to say. So I'll just come back to my website. So now I need to, first I will show you the displaying the data. Then after displaying the data, then we can work with the update as well as the delete operation. So now coming back to the Bootstrap, so I'll just search for the tables. So here I have some of the tables. It will look something like this. So where I can have use this kind of stuff. Even you can use like this. So whichever the database table you like, you can just start using it. So I want to use this kind of, like I want to use like this table, okay, or any other table, anything which is attracting one. Okay, so I'll use this label. Okay, so I'll just use this kind of table. So like this. So for this one, where is the code I can copy easily? I want something to get copy. So very easily I can copy the data and I can start using it. So I'll just copy this clip code. I'll just copy it. So I'll just go back to my index.html page. So where I have created one thing. So with the 8 form. So where it will get displaying the data. I'll just tell student details. I'll just create one h2 tags. I'll just mention student details. I'll just tell student details, DETALS details. So there is the student details tabs. So it should display the student details. So here I'll just give the particular class name here. I'll just give the class is equal to text center, and the particular text should be what? Text should be white color, and the background color should be what? The background color should be a dark color. If I just save this much, if I come back and refresh it, okay, so I'll just tell one more time. I'll just okay, you can see it is just talking. Just I'll just enter once again like this. So it will be looking something like this. So now what I'll do here is I'll give the same padding here. Okay, but the thing is not coming. I'll just tell text white, okay, and background dark, and I'll just give the padding here. So for this I'll just give the padding of 3. Just save it, come and refresh. You can see student details has been visible over here. Now I need to just pass the table over here. Whichever the code I have copied from the Bootstrap, I'll just paste it. So come back and refresh. You can see I'm getting all the data over here. Now this is a dummy data. I don't want to show the dummy data. I want to show the real data which has been there inside my database. To do that one, I'll just go back to my views. So here I'll run one particular function. I'll just tell data. So I'll just tell data is equal to, I'll just tell student dot objects. All the objects I need to load it from the database. So if I run this one command, it will go to the student database table. It will going to take all the objects and it will be data will get stored here. So here what I'll say, whatever the data will be there, I want to pass it as a context. I'll just tell like this. I'll just tell data is equal to, I'll just tell context is equal to, I'll just say something like this. I want to just tell whatever the data is there, just pass the particular data in the form of a dictionary. So this context I'll just pass to my index.html file. I'm just passing this context, whatever the data in the form of a dictionary it is there, I'll just pass it like this. Okay, I'm just passing the particular context to my HTML page. So once it is done, all the data it will take and it will convert into the dictionary, the objects. The dictionary data is in the form of a context. It is going to where? It is going to the index.html page. It will go to the index.html page. It will come over here. So now I need to load here. I need to just focus on how to display it. I'll just mention here what I can mention here. I can just mention the ID. Okay, I can just mention the ID. Here what was the name? Here it was a name. I want to display. Here I want to display the email address of the person. Here I need to display the what is the age of the person, and the last column is what? The last column is the gender, GENDER, gender. It should display. Okay, so that thing I need to display. Same here only. I'll just mention here. Let's tell edit option. I'll keep it here. I'll just keep it one delete operation, DELET, delete operation. Okay, two things I'll just keep, edit and delete over here. Anything it can be delete as well as a edit. So what I'll do here is so here is a row 1, row 2, it has been coming, right? So what I'll do, I'll just remove everything from here. So here I'll just remove the table row. So I'll just remove 2 table row. I'll just keep the 1 row over here. For this same row, I'll apply for loop. So I'll apply a for loop. I am getting a data to my context. So how? So see, I am getting a data from my views, the form of a context and the form of a dictionary to the HTML page. So now that particular data I will deal with. I'll just tell for the D in data. So I'll just tell for D in data. So for that data, I'll just access the attribute. So here I'll just end the for loop. So this is how the for loop works inside the Jinja templates. So I'll say you need to apply the same for loop over here. For this entire logic, you need to apply the for loop until it is there. I'll say here like this, we can access the particular attribute. So I'll say d.id. I want to show the ID over here. So here I want to show what? I want to show with a d.name I need to show. Then here I need to show what? d.email address, whatever the data is there. So here what all the thing is there, I need to just show in the form of d.age, age. Then here I want to show the g.gender, gender. So here I'll just keep the 2 buttons here. I'll just keep the 2 buttons over, that is update as well as a delete buttons. So if I just search for the BUTTONS buttons, so what is the buttons? So here you can see I'm having a 2 buttons over here. So I want something like this. I'll just copy the edit. I'll use for yellow color edit. So where is the yellow is for warning. I'll just copy this I'll just copy the primary button. So here I'll just keep one more button in the TD. So sorry, I'll just control D. So here I want to show the button for the edit, and same as it is I want to show for the delete. I'll just tell edit edit. Here I'll just tell the delete I'll just tell delete delete. So this time it will be the danger color, DANGR, danger color. So edit will be in the blue color. Anything you can just keep it. Now let's see whether it works or not. See, I just edited the table row and a table head. Then in the body of the thing I applied a for loop for a table row which will access the data. So anyways, the data has been coming from my backend. From here it is in the form of a context dictionary to the index.html file, and it is just going to the index.html file. So here I'm accessing the particular data object in the form of a I'm applying a for loop. I'm accessing in this particular format. So d.name, email, age, gender, it should be exactly whichever the name you have added inside the database models. Okay, if I'm giving as a name 2 here, if suppose it was a full name, that time it will be like d.full name, like this. So once I save everything, I'll just save the file, come back to the file. I hope no errors. If I refresh the data, so you can see I'm getting the things over here: ID, name, age, gender, edit, delete. But I'm just failing to display the particular data over here. So I'm having a few of the errors. So what is this particular errors I'm getting? Let's see. If I just go back to my, where is it? Okay, it is having a scope over here, right? Scope is equal to row. Okay. Come back here in the views.py file. So what is the thing I'm just doing mistake over here? So I'm saying the data is equal to student.objects.all. So I'm just handling and getting all the data. Then I'm passing everything in the form of a context. That is also perfect. Then I'm passing the thing whenever this function runs. I'm passing everything in the form of a context. Done. Coming back to the index.html file. So here something is mistake. What is the mistake? If I just comment this line, and here I'll just comment this particular line, what will be the output? We'll see. Okay, no, that is not the thing. So if I just comment back, okay, for D in data, so d.id, d.name, everything is perfect. I don't know what is the mistake is going on. So let's see what is the errors is been given over here. Okay, for D in data, so for the data actually it has been coming, so the ID is there, name is there, so it should display in this particular format, that is a TD. So suppose if I just show somewhere, I'll just tell I'll apply a for loop here. I'll just apply the for loop outside here, somewhere here. Let me check whether the data is coming or not. So if I just tell for, I'll just tell for date in data. So I'll just tell I want to display in the header tag. So I want to display the particular what date dot name. I want to get the names over here. If I just come and refresh it, so even though it is not working, so actually the mistake is somewhere I am going wrong. So the data has been not getting passed over here. Okay, so here I have entered the false one. Okay, fine. So let's remove it. So let's see whether here the things are coming or not. So if I just tell print, I want to just tell print print the particular context. I want to just tell print the particular context. Whether we'll see whether we'll be getting a data inside here or not. We'll see. If I just come back and if I just click on the CRUD operation, so it is run. So if I just see in the output, here you see I am not getting any context. I am not able to get all the data from here. So why it is not going to here is, so let me see. I'll just say here I want to print the particular data, whether the data is coming from the database. If I just save it like this, print the particular data, after this I'll just run the particular operation. It is run. So if I see, you can see there is data is not coming from the database. This particular query is not getting run. So we'll see what is the issue. So what is the mistake here is happening here is, so basically see, it is a insert operation. Okay, so actually when the request is post request, it will work, and whenever there is a slash insert operation, at that time only it will work. But basically my this particular whenever I click this one, this is working when this is just a index function, it is running it over here. So what I need to do here is I need to just copy this entire thing. I need to put it inside the index.html page where my data has been getting loaded. Okay, this is one thing we have done the mistake. Now if I just pass the particular context in the form of over here, so now the things will work fine. Okay, so here once I pass like this, here it is be giving me the error. I need to erase it. I'll just remove it. So now 100% sure it will work. Okay, as per my knowledge. Come back and refresh. If I refresh the data, so now you can see I'm getting perfectly exactly all the things I'm getting here. So Anish, Anika, Harshit, everything I'm getting it over here. Okay, so where I'm getting the email, I'm getting the particular email address as well as the age, and the buttons also I'm able to see it over here. So exactly the things is working fine, but I'm getting one thing over here. What is this? If I just go back to my index.html file, so where is it? I'm getting that particular serves. Okay, here I have just added the extra thing. It will, I need to remove it one here, and that's it. Just save it. Done. Now see, suppose if I try to add one more, if I just tell Meghana, I'll just enter MEGHANA Meghana at gmail.com, and I'll just tell age of 22. Here I'll just select the particular female, and if I just submit the record, you can see it is submitted. So once it's submitted, you can see it is coming back to this particular data. If I just come back to my home page, that after submitting the data, if I just see all the data has been visible over here. So like this we can see the particular stuffs over here. Okay, so like this we can just pass the particular data. So now we'll see how the insert, how the edit operation works. So here it is just a buttons now, but it is not working it. So we need to make it work over here. To work with the edit operation, what I'll do here is where is it? Here is the edit button. So here I will need to just pass the few of the attributes. So yeah, I'll just I'll just create one particular href. Here I'll just make it is as an anchor tag. Okay, I'll just make this as an anchor tag. Even you need to take care over here, just convert this thing to the anchor tag over here. Okay, so once it is done, once this has been changed, here I need to pass the href. So here I need to just pass the href. I'll just pass the particular href over here. So we'll just pass the href over here. So here I need to pass the particular href. I'll just say whenever anyone try to click to this edit button, so what is the action it should take? I'll just tell it should go to the update. It should take the update. Along with that, it should take one primary key. So the particular primary key, that is ID, I need to pass it, so that I can get to know that yeah, exactly this particular data I need to pass it. So I'll just pass like this. I'll just copy and I'll just paste it over here. So whenever I run into this command, it should take a d.id as a primary key. Add is a primary key for the update operation. Same way for the delete. If I just run like this, if I just go to the delete operation, it should take what? It should take d.id. That's it. Okay. So once I save, now see what will be there here. So I refresh the page. If I try to click onto the edit, you can see it is taking update as well as a 4. And it is not there now. If I just try to click here, delete, and it is taking delete/4. Okay. So it is running in this particular format. Now what I need to do? So I need to create a particular URL for it. I need to just create a URL for it. So same as it is, I'll just tell here it will be a update. Here it will be a delete operation. So along with the update, I need to pass one more thing. That is what I need to pass the particular ID. So here I'll just tell update / here I need to pass the ID. So here I'm passing the particular ID. So I need to pass it in this format. When I just tell delete, I need to pass the ID over here. So the ID has been getting passed now. So that's it. So insert data. So here I need to just change the names here. I'll just change the particular name. So I'll just change the complete okay, I'll just mention the update data. So I can just press alt and I can use the like this. I'll just tell update data. So here it will be a delete. The delete, delete the particular data. That's it. So I'll just save it. Once I save, my server will get crashed because there is no function written to it. I'll go back to my views.html page. So everything I'll just copy same as it is here. So whatever the things is there, I'll just copy like this. I'll just create like this. So I can just tell in this format, or else I'll just copy this data 1 2. After copying it, I'll just cut this particular code below. Okay, so yeah, let's tell update update data, and it will be a delete data. It will pass the context. It is fine. That is fine. It can just pass the particular context. But one thing is I'll just say it should go to the update.html page. Okay, so whenever I'm updating the particular data, it should go to the update.html page. So along with this request, I'm just passing one more attribute, that is id. So I'm getting one more attribute, that is id, so I can just get the particular id. So even for the request, I'm getting one more attribute. I'll just put a comma, I'll just use the id. So with that particular id only, I can access the particular data, right? So this is how the things works. So once it is been done, what I'll do here is I'll create one edit.html page. I'll just tell edit.html page. So I'll just create a edit.html page. In my edit.html page, what I'll do, I'll copy whatever the exact thing it is there. I'll just copy from the index.html page and I'll just put it inside my edit.html page. So at that time, what I'll do, I'll remove this stuff. So I'll just remove this the particular second thing, this particular column. I'll remove it. Okay, so I'll just remove from body one particular div tag. See, I am removing this entire column, the second column which I have divided in the row. I'll just remove it. I don't want it. So this time I'll just keep the button name as a update. I'll keep the button name as a update, and along with that I'll just keep the action as a update, and as it is, it should, I need to just say update the particular attribute. So I need to just save the one more thing over here. I need to just tell form is equal to update. Here I will just tell the particular, I'll just say, so whatever the id is there, I need to just pass for the update. Here I'll just say so I can just d.id. Okay, so I'll apply a for loop over here. Okay, I'll just apply the particular for loop so that I can get the particular id to it. So once it is done, same update, everything is same. Okay, so here I'll so anyways I'll be getting all the data to here. So I'll just tell d.id. So I'll d.id I am given over here. So here I'll just pass one more attribute, that is value. value. I want to show the value also. For here the value, I'll just tell d.name. The value should display the name, and here also I'll just tell value attribute. Here I'll just show it as d.email. Then along with that, here there is a, what is the value? So value is equal to, it will be what, d.age. So here it will be the d.age. So I'm just passing the particular value. So I'll just copy it. So even I can just select, I think I can give the value also here. Okay, so here I selected, here I'll just give the value here. So rather than giving this select gender, I'll just tell d.age over here. So whatever the value will be there, that will get selected. So I'll just tell the d.gender, gender, gender. Okay, so this thing should work. Update, when I update it, all the values should work, and it should get updated to this particular id. So I'll just save everything. So here I'll just tell update. Here I'll just tell update the student details. This time the background color I'll just make it as info color. Okay, so rest everything will be same. Here I'll just change the particular title name to update. Okay, UPADAT update, done. So once I save this much, so what is the next thing I need to do? So this is done. So now come back to the views.html page. So here it will taking the id. So obviously it is taking the particular id, and here it is just taking all the students. Here I need to filter the particular data. First I need to filter the particular data. So that particular data I am just passing to where I am just passing that particular in the form of a context. That particular data I am just passing to it. So here first I need to filter the particular data. So what is the query I need to run it here? So the query will be what? We need to just tell object.get. So I need to just use the object.get. Here I need to pass what is the id. So I'll just tell whatever the id is there, just pass the id is equal to id. Filter with the id is equal to id. Okay, I'll just tell filter with the id is equal to id. So whatever the data will be there, that particular data I need to pass it here. I'll just make it as a d. So because I have used as a d over here, so here I'll just tell the whatever the data is there, I need to pass it in the form of like that. So here I'll just tell, the particular d is equal to d. Okay, that particular context I'm just passing over. Okay, whatever the d is there, that particular thing I'm just passing over here. So it will just go to the context and it will go to the update.html page. So sorry, the edit.html page, right? So here I need to give it as edit.html page, and it will pass the context in the form of a d. Then what is there? So I just go to the edit.html page. Here it will just take all the values, that is a d.id, d.name, everything. It will get pop up. I'll just save everything. I'll see the terminal whether there are any errors. There is no errors. Come back to here. Now what I'll do here is I'll just go to the mini project. I'll just select the mini project here. Now if I try to edit, here you can see it is going to the update, it is going to the URL, it is taking the URL, that is a update operation, it is taking the ID, it is running this particular update function. It takes the ID, it takes all the data of it, and it will pass in the form of a dictionary to the edit.html page. So whatever the pre-written data is, well, I have given value is equal to d.name, value is equal to email ID, value is equal to dh. So that will get automatic, it will get filled over here. You can see it is filled. Now if I just rechange it here, I'll just tell Anis Rahman, I'm just changing it here. So if I just update it, once I update, it is done. So once I update, what I'll do, where is it in the views? So what I'll do, once it is updated, I want to what is the once it is updated, so I'll just try this one. So okay, what I can do here, I can just apply the particular try operations. I can just choose a particular try operations like that. Okay, one thing I have forgot to do here. What is the thing I have forgot to do it? So one thing I just forgot to do. That means it is just, yeah, it is just displays me the particular. If I had done the Anis Rahman, if I come back here, it is Anis itself. It is not changed. If I can just edit Harshit, it is just filling the data. But I want to save the. I want to put the particular form also. I want to just put the particular form also. So at that time, same I'll just copy it here. I'll just copy the same operation from here. I'll just put it here like this. Okay, I'll just say, if I enter it, okay, if I just enter it, it's just starting from here, right? So whenever there is a request.post, it should perform this particular operation. This should perform this particular operation whenever there is a post request for this particular data, and it should just save it. And I'll just use redirect also. I'll just put it comma, I'll just tell redirect. I'm importing a redirect. Once it is style, I'll just tell return. I'll just return redirect to return redirect to the slash. I'll just return redirect to this particular page. Okay, why is it getting error? Okay, return the particular redirect. So the redirects will take what is the operation, what is the, we have two things here, return as well as a redirect. So I'll just return redirect to this particular slash. I can just use any slash only, I can just use, but here I'm not getting. So let's save. So once I save, I'm getting this error. It's getting invalid comma. So where is the comma? Okay, anywhere I have mentioned the comma. Okay, perhaps you have enter. Okay, sorry, return or in return. Sorry, I am not able to say it. So sorry, it is return redirect. Okay, it will run once it is inserted. Once it is it will return over it. Same as it is. I'll just tell once it is saved, it should redirect to me to the home page. Once it is redirect, it should redirect me to the home page. So that is what I am doing it here. When if the request is equal to post request, it should take all the data. So I'll just tell post. I can use like this also. One more thing I'll just say, I can use in this format also. That is nothing but I'll just select alt over here. It's two choice, your choice, whichever you like, can just use. I can use in this particular format. When I'll just select here, I'll just select like this. Okay, so even here I need to remove the dot. So I can just tell dot, I can just remove it. So even I can take the particular data in this particular format also. Okay, it's completely our choice. So how we can do, we can just do it. So if the request.method is equal to post method, I can just do I need to run this particular stuff. If it's not, I need to, this will work obviously. Whenever I click onto the edit button, that will work. If the request is post request, this particular thing it is going to perform. It will take the data, whatever it is there, and it will submit. So it will just save it inside the particular data. So what I need to do here is, actually I don't need to do the particular thing. I need to just it will just save the one more data, I think. So that will be one more thing. So it will save it into the new format, but I want to edit with the same particular form. Okay, so for that one we can do one thing. Okay, so for that we need to do one more thing. So what is the, see, if I just try to edit one data, so if I just tell edit Meghana, if I just tell Meghana 2, if I just tell 1 2, if I enter, see, it is creating the new object. It is just creating the new object. The previous one is there as it is, but I don't want to do like this. For that particular thing, it is just saving the new particular data. So to avoid this kind of stuff, I can do one more thing. I can just do one thing. What I'll do here is, anyways, I'm taking this attributes, I'm taking these all the things from the form. After I take this stuff, so first I need to run this command. So same thing, I'll just run command. I'll get the particular ID of it. So which is the ID I want to update it. So I'm getting from the ID. Anyways, I'm passing the ID here. The ID will get passed here. So that particular ID will be just here. I'll just tell me it as an edit here. So in the edit is equal to student.object.get id. I'm getting the particular get id over here. So with this particular get id, I can just apply one thing. So what I can apply, so I can just say here is, so whatever the edit is there, like I can just say here edit edit. So edit dot, I'll just tell with the edit whatever the, sorry, edit dot name. So edit dot name we have. So with edit dot name, I'll just tell edit dot name is equal to at the name. So whatever the name I'm just getting, I want to save it. So I want to edit that one. So I'll just tell edit dot, we have a email. So at the place of email, I want over the email I'm getting, I want to save it. Then edit dot, so what is the gender, gender, gender is equal to gender, gender, same as it is. Edit dot age is equal to age. I want to just show it, whatever the new attribute, whatever the new things I'm just posting in the form, that should get edited. Okay, so that particular thing should get edited, whatever the things is there. So when it is done, so after I edit it, so I'll just tell whatever the edit object is there, I'll just tell edit dot save. I'll just run the particular save function. So once it is been saved, what I'll do here is I'll just return it. I'll just remove this command, I don't need it. Okay, so it will just save it and it will redirect to the home page. Let's see whether this works or not. So I hope you have understood here. I am just accessing the with the id, the particular id data I am just changing with the new data whichever I have posted in the post request form in the edit.html file. That is going to happen. Come back to here. Now I'll just click on the mini project. Now see, if I try to edit it, so if I just tell Meghana 3 is equal to Meghana 19, if I update, you can see Meghana 19 is updated. Here if I update Meghana 1258, see Meghana 1258. If I edit again here, if I just edit her age to 35, I'll just make to male. If I update, see male 35, everything is updated perfectly. Okay, so my insert operation is done, my read operation is done, and my update operation is done. So now one thing is left is what? It is a delete operation. I want to delete the particular operation. So let's see how we can use a delete operation. Same as it is, there is nothing rocket science. Just already I have provided a delete operation id. It will just go to the delete here. So here I need to just get the particular id here. So same thing, I'll just get like this. I'll just pass like this. So I'll say same d is equal to student.object.get the particular id. Whatever the id I'm getting, just get the particular id. Then I'll just say, I'll just return here. I need to just return the index.html file. No need of writing anything. I'll say here d dot, I can just tell whatever the d is there, I want to delete it here. So I'll just run one command. So whatever the is there, I'll just tell d dot delete, delete. I'll just tell delete, delete. This works. Okay, I think this will work. And after it deletes, I'll just tell delete here. I can just directly redirect over here. Also, if you want to do like this, you can just return. I'll just say here after it deletes, I'll just tell return redirect to the home page. That's it. I'm just using d.delete function. Once I save, you can see once I save, the function is been running everything perfect. Come back to the mini project. If I come here, if I just try to delete here, you can see the data has got deleted. If I delete again this one, the data is got deleted. So edit is done, update is done, as well as the delete operation is also done. So this is how the CRUD operations looks like. Okay, so I hope you have understood the everything. So now last concept, I don't want to say, but I'll say it, how to display the messages, like how to display the perfect message, like data got deleted, data got inserted. That thing I can just say you how it can be done. So for that you need to go to the settings.py file. So you need to go to the settings.py file. So I'll just show you fastly because the video is almost, it is a big video, it is been become. So I'll just show you the few of the settings over here. I'll just show you one thing. So here I need to import one thing. So I'll just import it here. So I'll just import it here. So here from django.contrib.messages, I need to import constants as a messages. This line you need to add it. So I'll just forward the video after adding the particular data so that it will be a little bit reduced. So actually few of the forms doesn't work. I need to pass the messages tags. So for handling the error message, I need to pass like this. The message.errors I need to handle. Okay, so these two things you need to add inside your settings. Then coming back to the index.html page, I'll just go back to here, the bootstrap. If I just tell it as an alert, see I have a dismissible alerts. So I'll be using a dismissible alerts with a particular like this. So I want to use this kind of alerts over here. So I'll just copy this alert. So I'll just come back to my index.html file. So in the index.html file, what I'll do above the content or else I can just say it here. I can just add at the table. So here I'll just add it. Okay, so here I'll just add below the student details, I'll just add this particular stuff. So here it will, what I'll just paste it here. So once I save it, see, it will be looking something like this. It will be coming like this. Okay, so the particular data will be coming like this. So for this I will apply a for loop. I'll just tell for message in messages, messages messages. Okay, so I'll just pass the for message in messages. Whenever there is a message, only at that time this particular thing should work. I'll just save like this. Here I'll just pass the particular what I can just, so I can just pass the particular color of the particular message. I can just pass the what is the color of it here. So at this time what I'll do here is I'll remove like this. So I'll just save it like, I'll just tell message dot tags. I want to just pass the tags over here, and whatever the message is there, I want to pass the particular message here. So I'll just remove this extra thing. Whatever the message is coming, that I need to pass it here. I'll just tell message message. I'll just pass the message over here. So at the time, this is only this much we need to do it. So then now I need to pass the message. So suppose for the insert operation I'll do it here. So if the insert is done, I'll just tell I need to import one of the things over here. I need to just import the messages over here. So what is that particular thing here is, I'll just import it here. I'll just say, so what is it, from the particular django.contrib import message. So okay, I'm just importing the messages. So what I'll say, whenever there is a query is running, I'll just tell messages dot, you can pass any color, you can pass primary color. I'll just tell messages dot primary. I can just tell messages dot the messages dot primary. Yeah, you can just pass the what is the message as primary or a warning. I'll use a messages dot primary color. So I'm just passing the primary color. I'll just pass you, I'll show you with the info color. Info, first argument it will take the request, and third argument it will take what is the thing. I'll just tell data inserted successfully. Okay, I'll just tell data inserted successfully. It will be like coming like this. So whenever I delete the data, it should be like danger color. I will like danger. So for the danger I have specified an error. Okay, so you need to use an error here. Okay, because the settings I have message, whenever there is a danger color, I will be using an error here. So here I'll just go back to the views. I'll say data deleted successfully, deleted successfully. Then for the updation is here, I'll say here in the warning color, I'll say data updated successfully, updated updated successfully. Only this is the thing you need to do it. Okay, I've gone a little bit fast. You guys can see it, and the code I'll be adding inside the description also, you can access it. Okay, so now let's try with an data. I'll just if I try to delete this one is here, if I try to delete, okay, something has been mistake, the server has been stopped. Let's see what is the error. So here I'm getting invalid syntax at where I'm getting at the line number 42. So at the line number 42 there is an invalid syntax, so I need to close it. Okay, so I'll just save it. So as the Python is an interpreter language, it will check one by line executions. So now come back here. Now I'll just go back, I will just refresh the particular website. So again I am not able to open the website. So see what is the error. So again I have the error over here. I need to close it here. So any other places I did the mistake? No. I'll just save the data. So now if I just see inside my terminal whether it is working or not. Yeah, it is working fine. Come back here, enter, it is working fine. Now see, if I try to delete the data, you can see data has been deleted successfully. I'm getting a field alerts. And if I want to edit the if I just tell Harshit Bhaskar, if I update it, you can see data updated successfully, it's been done. And even for the insertion also it works. Okay, so all the things is working perfectly. So I hope you have watched this complete video, entire video. If you like this video, just share with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell icon for such more videos. The code I'll be giving inside my description below, please access it, and I'll see you next time. Take care, bye bye.